You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thank you so much for joining me today on this Mindset and Motivation Monday. I'm excited to talk about today's topic, and that's because today's topic is about you. It's about me. It's about all of us as individuals and the enormous amount of pressure and responsibilities that we place on ourselves. So every day in my practice, I have the opportunity to see what are the major things? What are the major things that are weighing people down, that is stressing them out, that if we were to remove those or at least lessen them, people could begin to heal in both mind and body? Because remember, your body also follows your mind and vice versa. So if your mind is stressed, if it's angry because of all these responsibilities you have and all these different roles that you have to play, and you're irritable or you become apathetic, all of these things affect the body as well. They certainly affect the hormones, and they certainly affect your energy, your digestion, your skin, everything that goes along with the entire immune system. So we have to look at that. That's so important because I totally understand, and I'm in the same boat as you, that you can't just give up all of these responsibilities, all of these things that are placed on you, right? Because you might be a spouse, you might be a parent, you might be an employee, you're a good friend, mate, probably to many different individuals. And what happens is all of those people look to you as part of the agreement that you have with them, right? As humans, the relationships that we've created, whether it's work or whether it's kind of in our community, our culture, our church, our spirituality, with our significant other, with our children, with our parents, like all of those things, we look at that and we look at those relationships, and everyone, a lot of the time, is usually looking for something from us. Now, some relationships require more of us to give more to that person. Maybe you're a caretaker for someone, or maybe you have a really demanding job, a really demanding boss, whatever it might be. And you have to start to look at those things. What are the things in life that are holding you back? Meaning that holding you back from living the life that you want by design, the life that you created ultimately, that's going to make you feel like you're living on purpose. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that there are not specific roles right now that you're playing that are literally consuming your spirit, meaning that when your spirit begins to die, you start to not enjoy life as much. And I think we've all been there before. I certainly have, meaning that I've entered into agreements, relationships, businesses, partnerships, all sorts of different things that in the beginning, maybe they look great, or maybe they didn't. Maybe I had to take on that role like I've spoken about before on previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays. And the reason I took on that role is because I knew that that's where I was at that point in life. But I also said to myself, this is where I have to be right now, but it's not where I need to finish. And that's what I want to talk about today. How can we begin to lessen that? Because I believe this as well, is that in life, you have to grow and you have to let go, which means that if you aren't growing and you're not choosing to grow, because it is a choice, you're holding on to things. You're not allowing yourself to let go. And many of us are there because the truth is that we want comfort in life. We don't want to move out of that comfort zone. So even though we'd be much better off in the future if we learn to let go of some of these things, well, in the present, that's a painful thing to start to break away from some of these responsibilities or relationships that we can. And again, we're going to talk about what we can do, while at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not offending or letting people down along the way. So I don't believe a lot of times that cutting things off cold turkey, although very important in some scenarios, like a very abusive or poor relationship. And again, that could be physically, verbally, demanding, any of those things, whether it's with a work or a current relationship, any of those things, like a friendship, any of those. Really, really important that you take a sabbatical. Remember, you can always decide a month later, 2 months later, if you want to be back in that relationship, whether, again, it be work, friendship, significant other, you name it. But sometimes you do have to do that because the truth is this, a lot of people don't tell you that your needs are important as well and that they're not selfish. Everyone else is putting their selfish needs on you. So why aren't you allowed to do a few things that you want as well? And that's what I believe. I believe you can do both. So I just want to give you a couple examples in my life, just probably shed a little light on what I've looked at. And that's the truth is that when I was looking, so I was obviously, I've spoken about this before, but in a really bad place when I was 17, 18 years old, going into college, and then really through all of college and out of college, just trying to really get myself well, is that I have an amazing group of friends that I've been friends with literally since high school, And they're amazing, amazing people. And we went out all the time and we still hang out, But we have families now. Things are just a little bit different. But the truth is that for a period of time, I simply wasn't able to go out every Friday and Saturday night with them. And I wanted to, but I couldn't heal my body doing that. We have so much fun when we go out. We would go out till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then, of course, I would get home. I would fall asleep that night or early that morning, right? As a young 20-year-old and 20-something-year-old, not 20-year-old. It stretched to probably like 24, 25 years old on the weekends. And the problem was this. By Sunday night, my sleep cycle was all thrown off. So I wouldn't be able to fall asleep till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd have to wake up by 5. So that was not conducive to staying healthy, and my body suffered. My energy suffered. I still pushed through in life, but all of that suffered, and because of that, my mood suffered as well. And again, then I wasn't at my best for work. I wasn't best at my other relationships with my girlfriend, who's now my wife at the time. With any of those things, I was not my best. I had to commit to start to get taking back my sleep. And part of that was not being able to go out every Friday and Saturday night. That wasn't the way it was going to work, especially Saturday nights, because that would set me up for poor sleep into Sunday. Because if you don't wake up till 11 in the morning, 12 noon, because you went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever it might have been, you're going to have a really challenging time getting to bed at 10 o'clock. Even when I would sleep until 9 or 10 o'clock, I couldn't go to bed 12 hours later when I needed to. So that was one of the ways in which I had to just not get rid of my friends, step aside for a little period of time in order to heal my body. I also had to stop working with specific clients way back in the day. I've done this now for a long time. My practice has always been application now for over a decade. And the truth is this, I only work with a couple of clients that were really negative. Meaning, believe me, when people are sick, they're not feeling well, I welcome them into my practice because I've been there. I understand that. It's the people who, for whatever reason, they look to you as you're going to have the silver bullet, right? And they don't want to do any of the work. They don't want to do any of the healing themselves. They don't want to talk about things like calming stress levels. They just say, just give me what you got. Just give me it. And I'll do it. Then they kind of half do it, half don't. And then, they're always complaining and whatever it might be. Well, those people really drain you. I mean, they really drain you. Personally, I don't hang out with those people in life for friends and relationships. I just don't do that. I don't need that type of negativity in my life. So why would I invite that in for my personal practice? I don't even allow it online. If someone's going to sit there and just berate any member of our private Facebook group or be negative in any way, sorry, there's plenty of other groups for that. It's just not part of this. It's not allowed in my house. That's just the way it works. My daughters know that. Everybody knows that. You're allowed to, you have to check out that episode. That was just, I think, last week on complaining. Let me see if I can get that episode. How to break the cycle of complaining, 773. Check that out if you didn't check it out. You're allowed to complain. Things in life aren't going to always go your way. But the problem is this. You're not allowed to keep up with it. And we talk about that, how it for you break the cycle of complaining for you. So check out that episode if you didn't. But that's one of the ways that I started to heal my body. Another one is this, is that just recently, I had to stop. I couldn't do as many one-on-ones in my practice. And the reason is this. If I want to write books, and I'd like to write a book every 2 years or so, I think that's probably a realistic estimate for myself, every 18 months to 2 years on different topics. And maybe that'll change. That's not a definitive goal of mine, but that's a goal. Is I just want to be able to get more information out there. I want to be able to do always a daily podcast. But now I have new goals. This literally just surfaced in the last, let's say, 6 to 8 months. And it's because people have been asking me every week. If someone asks you to do something every week, and it's something that you want to do in terms of your work, and because my passion is teaching, is they want a certification. They want to be coached moms and dads as part of communities in their own family want to know how to better heal themselves and heal their family, okay? They want to bring it to their community. There's thousands of health practitioners who say, we want to be able to do this, what you're doing right now in your practice, and getting results with people literally all over the world, and you're doing it over Skype. How can I do this too? And so now I want to teach other practitioners, and I want to teach other people as well with interactive based courses. That's super exciting for me, because you probably don't know this, but I almost went back to school just to become an educator, teacher, obviously in health, in holistic based medicine. But I was like, oh, well, I could be a professor at a university. And then I realized how political that is. And I was basically talked out of that. But I truly love to teach. Now, had I done that, maybe I would have got to this point with the podcast as well. But the podcast and creating your own certifications and courses, there's no need to do it at a university-based level, because I can only work with 30 people, 50 people per class. Now I get to speak with 10,000 plus people every time that we are able to put out an episode. And so that's just a amazing thing. And I believe by the end of this year, we'll have reached 1 million people a month. And that's just not something that I, could possibly have ever fathomed before. But the way that this is happening is that I'm not able to complete 40 hours of one-on-one consultations in my practice. And I know there's a lot of people that were upset about that I now have a waiting list of 6 weeks or 8 weeks. But here's what I said. I will never abandon people. I will never allow myself not to be able to help people if they want that one-on-one, that private one-on-one. But here's the thing. I have an amazing group of health coaches that I've personally trained and certified myself. And I read over every person's lab that ever comes into practice, whether they're working with me or not. And then I gave people the ability to purchase a lab right online. Like literally almost anyone anywhere in the world can purchase a lab, and they can do it right at home. They can send it in. They get the results. I read over their results. I make recommendations for them. The health practitioner under me puts it together in a plan and then does a consultation call with them. It's the simplest, best way to help people heal their body. And that means I don't have to do all the one-on-one. So there are ways always around it. Like another big one is that people get upset when I don't answer every single direct message on Instagram or Facebook. I don't even use Facebook Messenger. And people are asking me questions, and then they get upset when I don't comment back, or, all of these different things. So what I've done is I now have health coaches on cabralsupportgroup.com. It's our free private Facebook group. If you have a question, you can ask it right there. And an amazing team of health coaches are able to answer those questions. And I pop in as well. I'm just not able to do that all the time during the day while doing those other things as well, trying to help people at a larger scale. Instagram, same thing. I get into my comments, I write back, but I don't really do direct messages because I already get 300 plus email a day. So, it's one of those things where I have the Ask Cabral. So if you really need your question answered personally, absolutely, you can go to stephencabral.com/Ask Cabral. And I know that it's 4 weeks or so before you get your question answered on the weekend house calls, but it's still my way of still trying to be able to give back as best as I can. So what I'm saying is that I know that people want me to always be available to answer every email, every call, get back to about every business inquiry or every interview request or every direct message, social media comment, whatever it might be. And you get the point, right? But you have those same demands as well. You have the demands from your friends to go out on the weekends or to drink, and you may not want to always be consuming so much alcohol. Your spouse might want to stay up late at night, but you want to go to bed a little bit earlier to get back your health. Or you have a parent that just is always asking you to take them here, take them there, do this for them, do that. Same with children, same with all of these different things. And I'm not asking you to give any of those things up. What I'm asking you right now, though, is start to understand that this is your life and nobody else's, okay? So it's your decision to choose to help all of those people, because this is your life too. They're trying to control your life. And again, no one, most likely, almost no one is doing this from a mean standpoint. Maybe a couple people, but for the most part, no, they just want you. And that's a great thing because you have a lot of people who are looking to you. And that means the more people you have that are looking to you in your life, again, whether it's relationships, work, spouse, community, you name it, they're looking to you because you're someone that they look up to, that they want your help or expertise or any of those things. And that's a great thing. But at some point, there has to be a limit. And I'm going to tell you why. Because what happens is eventually you start to dislike who you've become and what you're doing. So what happens with me, I always know when I'm at a breaking point. It's because I'm right now, like in my life in general, this has really been the last way for the last, like I would say 6 years or so, 7 years. I'm doing exactly what I want in my life with the people that I want to be doing it with, all of those things, for sure that I am. However, when the stress starts to build, we all get stress in our lives, but when it doesn't go away and it's around a particular person or topic or thing or activity, I know that that activity has to go because I can't let that one activity drag down every other responsibility and person who looks to me to be able to help them. So I know that it's that one activity. So for example, for me, I couldn't do everything else. I couldn't do the podcast. I couldn't do mentoring. I couldn't do writing the book. Couldn't do any of these things when I was doing 30 to 40 hours. And that's just consultations. That doesn't include all the extra emails and everything else that comes with it and reading over the labs and all those things. I couldn't do it all. Okay. I knew that I loved it, but I started to hate it. And when you start to hate something that you love, that you got into initially that you loved, it usually just means that you're doing too much of it. That's just too much that it becomes work, right? None of this is work for me. None of it's work. I love it all. And honestly, like I'll be doing this forever. I really will be. So that's how you have to look at it, is that don't start to keep doing too much of the thing that you love because it's being demanded of you, because that thing that you love, that thing that you're passionate about, you might start to dislike. And what happens at this point is you start to go into escapism or escapism mode or escape mode. And this is literally where you're just looking, I just need to give it all up, move away to some tiny island of the South Pacific where you can go sip on Mai Tais for the rest of your life, right? We've all kind of had that mentality before. The problem is you realize later that what you were escaping from, what you were getting away from, you actually loved. You loved doing that thing in life, but just not at that level, not doing that much of it. So again, most of us enjoy helping out a spouse or friends or parents or whoever it is. But when you're being asked every weekend, which is your time, right? A lot of people have the weekends off. It's your time, but you're being asked by everyone else to go to every birthday celebration, every event, every, help out with this move and that move and all these different things. And you feel obligated to always say yes, right? Because you want to be a good person. You want to help them out. But you have to understand that there are limits and that you can't be everything to everyone all the time. And that's because to be at your best, you need a little bit of time to yourself. I always say that. It's one of the reasons why I get up purposely an hour before the rest of the world, before the emails. I don't check my phone at that time. My girls aren't up yet, and it's my time. It's my quiet time. And if they start to wake up even earlier, that means I'm going to be waking up earlier as well because that's my time. And if I get my time, then I'm all theirs after that, right? So once I step into the world or once my daughters wake up, it's their time. That's the way it is. Once I get to work, that's no longer my personal time. That's the other people that I serve, okay? That's their time. And then at lunch, the phone's off. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to an audiobook. I'm reading a book. I'm walking. I'm listening to binaural beats. I'm doing any of those things. Who gets to choose? Me. That's my time. I can take 20 minutes to 30 minutes to go for a walk. That's how I've designed my life. That's my time, right? It's nobody else's. So if you want to call me during that time, I'm sorry, but it's going to be on Do Not Disturb. And that's because unless I'm expecting an emergency call, the rest of the world can wait 20 to 30 minutes. And that might seem selfish as I'm saying that, but I'll tell you right now, it allows me in life. The more time I give myself, the more selfless I can be. And the only way I can do that is if I felt like I've gotten a little bit of me time. So out of my day, I look to get my hour. I wake up before the rest of the world. I'm not asking the rest of the world to go away. I'm waking up before it, right? So before the rest of the world starts, I get started. That's my time. Then at lunch, I consider my first half of the day. When I get to lunch, okay, I switch modes. I get into that parasympathetic nervous system, that healing part of the body. And then what I do from there, my quiet time, okay. Once I go back, I consider that my second day. That is whatever's scheduled for my second half of my day. Maybe it's interviews, or maybe it's mentorship calls, or maybe it's private practice concierge-based calls, maybe it's meetings with a team, maybe it's filming, maybe it's podcasting, whatever it is, I have that all scheduled. And then that's not my time, right? That's my work time. And then work day ends, I come home, and that's my family's time, right? That's my 2 girls. I make sure I'm having dinner with them. I'm giving them a bath. I'm putting them to bed. Obviously, the most insane, chaotic period of the day. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. And then it's my time again. Okay. I get about an hour or so with my wife before bed. And that's it. We do that Monday through Thursday, basically. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, more relaxed. That's more of like family time. But I get up an hour before the rest of the family. So I still have that little bit of quiet time. So if there's anything I need to get done, do it. I feel like I've accomplished it, and then back to the rest of people's time. So what I'm saying to you is I believe that you can start to take back certain parts of your life, and you can start to lessen your load with all the other responsibilities that you have. So sometimes, like when we're caring for elderly parents, or we're caring for friends in need, we can ask another sibling or friend or another person, hey, could you do this day once a week? Instead of me doing all 7, could you do, Mondays and Wednesdays? And come up with an excuse if you like, I have to do this, this, and this. And you should. Like, you have your own needs, right? So what I'm saying is you don't have to give up all these responsibilities, again, unless they're not serving you. And then you should come up with a plan. It doesn't have to be tomorrow to move away from those things that are, honestly, they're weighing you down. They are dragging you down, and they are really depleting you of your spirit, your vitality, and your passion. So here's what I want you to do. I believe that life is this strange paradox. It's that if you take care of yourself, most of us will have many, many years ahead of us, right? But they go by so quickly. That's the crazy thing. We have hopefully decades in front of us, but they go fast. And so I don't want you to look back. I don't want you to look back looking like you live someone else's life, because I don't want you to have the regrets of not being able to take advantage of this one opportunity that we get. Okay, we don't know. Nothing's promised that I know of. I just don't know, right? When I look at it, I'm very scientific based. I am very spiritual, but I look at it as, hey, there could be a lot waiting for us, right? But we don't know. But here's what I do know. Let's take advantage of this opportunity that we have right now. Not in a hedonistic and just, go all out kind of way. What I'm looking at is this. I'm saying that, and I've said this before, I believe the way that we feel most fulfilled is by serving others. But at the same time, you need to also serve yourself. Take care of some of those things that you then will look back on your own life and say, great, it was a life of service. But I also accomplished my own bucket list. And last Monday, I hope you checked that out as well, was how to create the ultimate bucket list. And that was number 780. So check that out if you haven't looked at it, because there's 2 parts of life, right? It's the yin and the yang of everything in life. And there's this, I look at it as maybe the serving of others, and then also taking care of your specific needs. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. And this is also what I found is that if you can find your place in the world where you're serving others and taking care of your need at the same time, that if you do it right, I believe that you'll have found your sweet spot. And that if you do that, you're living this literally life of limitless passion and harmony in this world. And I think the way to do that, I'm looking into myself as well. I believe that the way to do this is to look to, what do I feel like I'm moving towards in life? What's drawing me there, right? What do I want to do more of in life? What am I most passionate about? I know there's a lot of people right now going into health coaching. And I think it's a great thing. It's because here's the thing. They want to get better, not just physically as well. There's a lot of people who want to heal physically, but they want to heal mentally too. And by being a health coach, you're working on both the psychology and physiology. I really believe that. And that's the difference between medical doctors. And even I would say chiropractors and acupuncturists, a lot of other people as well. Now, again, everyone spans the board, right? Because you can be truly integrative. But a health coach, I believe, can go deep in those specific areas and really talk to people on a personal based level. So here's the deal. Here's what I want from you. This is how we're going to close this out. I want you to go back to last podcast, 780. I want you to write down your bucket list. I want you to go, what are most of the things on your bucket list looking at? Is it like me where you feel fulfilled in life by teaching? Or is it for you feel more fulfilled in life by making beautiful paintings or singing or any of those things? Well, that can be your outlet, right? So start to look at those specific things, because then if you can marry that, with the service that you're providing, and the service you're providing is basically living your life, okay? You're not going out there and thinking about, I have to do this, and this service. No, the service you're providing is being an amazing person for your friends, your family, your significant other, your community, your church, your spirituality, whatever it might be, any of those things, and your work too. All of those things are ways in which you can serve the world as long as you're serving yourself at the same time. I hope that this show was helpful. I appreciate you tuning in as always. And if you could do me this favor, I want you to start to, if possible, pass along some of your favorite shows. Let's see what today's show notes, 787. So there's 787 Cabral concepts. If you could just forward along one that resonates with you to someone who you believe needs to hear that message, I would truly appreciate that. Thank you. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak with you again tomorrow. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.